As we've talked about, who knows in the finals, what we've seen so far this weekend would suggest anything is possible.
There's always a nervous time for players, Tim. The national anthem, just staring across at your opposition, who you may be coming across again. I saw it in the Hawthorn and Freo game today. Really tense time.
Down to our Master of Ceremonies at the MCG, Stephen Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Football League and Premier partner Toyota welcome you to the first qualifying final. Would you now please join with the coaches, players and umpires as we stand for the Australian National Anthem.
The crowd has come late to the MCG, expecting 60 to 70,000 people tonight. The rain, it stopped about an hour ago. Been plenty in the last 20 hours, although I will say the ground, it is amazingly in good condition after all that rain, although very slippery around the boundary line. By gee, phenomenal effort by Ryan Griffin to him to be back in the side tonight.
Good, Nick. Good luck, mate. Jono, good luck, mate. Angelo, over here, please, buddy. Jono, your call. It's tails.
Saw Ryan Griffin in the rooms last Saturday night with that knee injury. He could hardly walk, so amazing to see him back out on the ground tonight. Really surprised by that. He's got that knee heavily strapped up. Hopefully he can get through tonight's game. They've got a few injury concerns, the Dogs, but by gee boys, the crowd, not surprisingly, is heavily dominated by the Collingwood Army.
Thank you, Harry. He's roaming the boundary tonight. And what about the way this game's going to be played? We talked about them trying something different. Will it be trying to clog it up? I mean, the weather will obviously help if that's what they've got in mind, Wolsey.
Well, there's no Adam Cooney, so outside players, and Cooney can get it inside, but they need good runners and finishers. Maybe it frees up a Bob Murphy, who's been playing in defence. Maybe Kellen goes into the back line and Murphy becomes a midfielder. There's a shot of Adam Cooney. And boy, will they miss him. Also Dale Morris, who's one of their best defenders.
There's going back by the look of that, Rob, so that won't be the case.
Well, we'll just have a look at them as they line up. Jono's going to the forward line. Looks like Harbrow's in their forward setup. Now, this is interesting. Jared Harbrow, we thought pre-game he might go there. And this is something that they haven't done all year. The little back pocket specialist for the Bulldogs. He's up inside the forward 50. And Barry Hall, I tell you what, I bet he likes playing alongside Big Bazza. That'll give you a lot of confidence. Young Higgins in picture there. Gian Syracusa, Jarrett Grant, dark-haired fella. Gee, he's going to be a good player, Lloydie.
He is going to be a good player. He had a breakout game last week. Would do a lot for his confidence, but he's stepping up in class tonight.
Mitch Hahn going into defence. Now, that's another interesting one for the Bulldogs. Mitch Hahn has played the last 3 or 4 seasons as a forward, a bullocking forward. He can play in the back line. He's played a lot of football there early in his career. So a couple of changes already.
And Pickens in the midfield. So starting in the centre bounce. So looking forward to seeing who he goes to. And Addison has got the tagging role on Dale Thomas on the wing.
We're set to go. We've seen 2 upsets so far this opening weekend of finals. In greasy conditions at the MCG, the Bulldogs get ready to take on a huge challenge against Collingwood. Sit back and enjoy the action. It's coming your way from the MCG.
So the third of the qualifying finals, and the flag favourites Collingwood start their campaign and try and win the footy from the outset, but it's Griffin who swings it forward. It looks as though Harbrow's going to latch onto O'Brien. A Collingwood free kick and the umpire waves them on. Thomas delivers to Darren Jolly. Such a force, and the other of their star Foreign Legion recruits, Luke Ball, there as well. But Griffin
who was under such a cloud, has had it twice. Murphy didn't have it for long. He'll get a free kick. Thrown after the ball came out. So it's the Bulldogs' ball over on the southern side, and Griffin's got it a third time.
Yes, he's been very prominent so far. Good confidence boost for him. Got a pretty reasonable record in finals. Averages 20 disposals a game as Ryan Griffin, which is a little better than some of his teammates. Ball over and out.
Boyd's got the job on Dane Swan. They're at the back of this contest.
And Hudson over the top with Jolly. And they'll lock it in. We're going to get used to that side, I suspect, tonight. All of us just about were out on the ground, and Howie mentioned around the flanks particularly. It is very greasy out there, Lloydie.
It is very greasy. Contested ball so important through the midfield, and the Bulldogs have fallen away in the last 3 weeks in that area.
Decisive hit from Maxwell, but only as far as Robert Murphy, who's looking for friends. Found one, Harbrow. Dale Thomas underneath it. Oh, he's looking for 50, but up by Matthew Nichols onto him there. So good start from Thomas, who was tagged last week, only had the 14 disposals. And away to another of their playmakers in Shaw, who kicks to the wing. This is a good promising start, though, by the Bulldogs.
Who work it around. Kajian Siracusa. Short to Addison. So the Bulldogs doing all the attacking in the early part, but they need something to reward their effort as it's Brown on Hall. It's kicked to within 30, and Griffin, who is everywhere at the moment, will be soaring skywards if he can nail this from about 35 metres.
Well, he's got early touches, Matty Lloyd, and that will be terrific for his confidence because he's gone into this game under an injury cloud.
And that was a really smart kick from Addison. He's playing on Blair, Ryan Griffin, too tall, too strong, and Blair, you could see, looked really vulnerable in the back line.
Well, won't this be the start? Straightforward shot, not a straight kick. That's wasteful.
Well, he's pretty accurate normally. 21 goals, 10 behinds for the year.
And we can't emphasise enough how important, particularly early straight kicking is. Hawthorn found that out today, and we saw it from both sides last night. But the Dogs are certainly out there on board, and you can see their desperation and dedication, and also their flashy skills. Harbrow into Jan Siracusa. Another who'd love to make a mark in the September action. Played 8 finals and kicked just 4 goals, Jan Siracusa.
Holding the ball.
And there's a holding the ball decision. It's going Collingwood's way. Their tackling has been a real feature this year.
Well, already Harbrow's put 2 into the forward 50.
Ben Johnson finds Luke Ball, one of their 2 prime recruits at the start of the year. Ben Reid, what a season he's had. Dawes and Hahn and Lee Brown. Bit of a wild card, but Dawes did well to get back onto it. Straight away, Blair feels the finals heat, and we're going to have a bounce.
At the moment, Brian Lake is actually picking up Leon Davis, so he's trying to get a change there because there's a real mismatch.
Easy for Hudson, although he had to be careful. You can't afford to be caught. Now there is Davis. Taken over the line. Leon Davis comes to another final series with question marks hanging over him. He's kicked 5 goals in his last 9 finals since that awful 2003 grand final against Brisbane. Boyd takes it away. Hall a long way up, but couldn't collect there. Reid to Swan. Bounce awkward for him. Thomas has started very well. That's a good move, good delivery, but Lake read it beautifully. As Dawes attacked it, Lake just waited back. Griffin got the footy again. That's possession number 5, and that's number 6 as he probes to the southern wing. There'll be a throw-in.
Well, he's just been given a loose run. Have a look at the interchange bench there. Didak at one end of it, Pendlebury at the other. 2 of their very best yet to get on the field.
We have a very good contest in the opening 5 minutes. It's the Dogs with the only score so far. Jolly and Hudson. Addison, who has that negative roll on Thomas. This is a positive move, though. Harbrow to the prolific Boyd. Thomas overran him. It's taken a while, but the Dogs should be able to get a meaningful possession now. And it's Johnson who gives to the exciting Jared Grant. He takes it in front of Reid. The goal face guarded heavily.
Brad Johnson, the skipper, playing half forward on Heath Shaw. And as much as anything, that'll be to control the run and rebound of Shaw, one of Collingwood's very best out of defence.
Griffin up for his 7th disposal. We saw Jared Grant a moment ago, 6 goals last week.
And the Bulldogs, Hutto, we spoke about doing something different this week. They are going round the boundary line. They're usually a team that comes through the corridor, which they do now. They're looking to frustrate Collingwood, playing the way they like to play.
So Lake with the entry, talking about going around the boundary line. That was another example. Maybe every now and then it might be worth going a bit more accurately towards goal, because that's very hard to kick goals from out there.
But they're going to stop Collingwood scoring as well. So I think they want a low-scoring affair tonight, the Bulldogs, something they haven't done in the past 5 years when they've failed around finals time.
Collingwood score so much from turnovers, don't they?
Yeah,
and don't concede as many themselves, because they do take that path around the boundary.
Luke Ball, I'm not sure that he was trying to get it out, but umpire Nichols is satisfied that he was. Collingwood's record in lower scoring games this year is not good. In games where neither team has reached 90 points, there have been 6. Collingwood have won 2 and drawn 1, and their wins have been by 3 and 1 point against Melbourne and Adelaide, so not the strongest opposition. And the Bulldogs will try and make it a doer encounter, you would imagine. Their record in games like that much better. They've won 3 out of 5, and their 2 losses have been by 3 points against Hawthorn and St Kilda. So the strategy, you would think, is pretty obvious. Here's the Magpie skipper, and he'll try and set them up here through the corridor to little Blair. Murphy with him. Shaw knocking it on in the Davis direction. Can he fly in September? Back to Blair from outside 50 to Cloak. He can go back, he can have a shot, and he can try and set the confidence agenda for himself for September.
And this is the worry for the Western Bulldogs. I think that obviously Brian Lake, he'll step up tonight in a big game. He often does. He's got Chris Dawes. Chris Dawes will really play a decoy role tonight, and this is where the Pies can expose the Bulldogs with Travis Cloak. Should be far too good and strong for Tom Williams.
This really, Collingwood's goal kicking inaccuracy has been a talking point all year. They are terribly inaccurate. The fellow with the footy's kicked more behinds than he has goals.
23-27 from set shots.
And for the confidence of this team, very important kick.
And he's missed it.
And I'd say 90% of them, Tim, would be to that right-hand side. Always pulls them across his body.
And how much the misses early on when the spotlight's on you eat into you?
Oh, it does big time. That first kick's the most important.
The stats show too that Collingwood get more inaccurate as the game goes on. Gilby's landing this one at half back. Williams, it was cleverly done to cross and then to Lake. And the Dogs get it beyond the wing. O'Brien with Higgins for company this time, but great sharing, and McCaffer has got Beams, who's on the ground for the first time away, and they're lining up. Look at Leon. He couldn't take the mark, but he's still not out of it. Gets good support from Cloak, and then back to side bottom. Delicate kick, hoping Dawes can stand up, but Brian Lake, one of the best anticipators in the game, and the ball over the line. So a point each after nearly 10 minutes.
Gee, it's a good spoil, long and strong to the boundary line. Perfect defender's spoil.
So both teams having early opportunities, neither converting. Collingwood's turn, kicking to the city end on this damp night, but at the moment the weather is clear.
Collingwood have jumped the Western Bulldogs the first 2 quarters of the 2 encounters this year, and another sign of the tactic they're employing going wide is that is to stop the jumping of Collingwood, where they often get out to a big lead.
Minson taking Jolly under it, stolen, side bottom, well smothered and collected by Cross. He'd like the line, but Lee Brown's going to get there. Hahn comes at him, couple of big men. Johnson on his natural side, good kick, beautiful kick, just missing to the near side.
Gee, the faithful were out of their seats. They thought that Benny had slotted it.
And the Western Bulldogs, you saw Benny just missed there, but they're going out to the far side. And once again, they're just playing to the wing that Collingwood like to play.
So Gilby gives it plenty. Williams got to go here, and he does go hard. Didn't mark it, but it didn't matter too much. Ward and Johnson involved, and Boyd, and they've sorted that out beautifully. And Ward can run on top of the ground and head to half forward. Hall takes the mark. Barry with a vacant goal square. Might think about it. He does. And he gets it behind. Worth the thought, I reckon.
Yeah, worth a crack. Worth a crack. Big skid factor out there, Hutto, tonight.
Skid factor. You're right on that tonight, Wolsey. I know you were talking about it before the game.
Wellingham, such an important player, and Speaking of such characters, Didac, after starting on the bench, kick just too strong for Cloak. Williams, who's been good in recent weeks. Johnson working his way up into the back half. Coolly delivering to Gian Siracusa.
Yeah, and he's hesitating to move it on because Maxwell's free across half back, so they'll go sideways.
So the Bulldogs are going to work it around again. Hargrave, who has Davis, to Ward. Beautifully weighted kick, but a very good smother by Didac. Tuvey brought down by Ward. Collingwood with the 3-on-1, and eventually they do prevail. Reid for Pendlebury coming off the bench, and that was nicely placed and weighted. And from the wing, Pendlebury goes long. Bulldogs 3-on-2, but Cloak stands tall. No one close to goal, so he has a go from a long way, and it doesn't quite have the depth.
Well, let's see if they take it back from whence it came. No, they've switched to the other side.
Where Gilby takes it for the Dogs. And does go a little more centrally. And Addison takes the mark. Dylan Addison, the 22-year-old, playing just his 11th game for the season. And just was going the boundary, but you actually have to keep it inside the line.
You do, and this is another... Higgins has been given a defensive role, which he doesn't usually play, on Harry O'Brien tonight.
Swan keeps it in, trusting O'Brien, rewarded with his faith. A left foot barrel into the 50. Didac beams, ready to snap it up, willing it back. And the Pies have 4 behind, so their scoreline's not going to look too pretty again tonight by the way they've started.
Just got to be careful, the Bulldogs, Lloydie, that they don't have too many forwards playing negating roles in Higgins, Harbrow and Brad Johnson. Obviously, they have to respect the Collingwood halfbacks, who are sensational with their rebound, but they've also got to be thinking about creating.
It's an arm wrestle of a start. Big Bazza arriving in intimidating manner and comes at Tuvey hard. Harbrow follows his lead, and the Dogs work it. Minson, Hahn, Griffin again. They stood up well there. Very competitive early. The dogfight in this qualifying final is well and truly underway.
Maybe Higgins can sense an opportunity to get a TV by playing a low possession game on O'Brien.
There's the captain, and the captain's the spare man in defence for the Magpies, as he so often is. Sets up so much play.
Free kick to Darren Jolly. And so the Pies, they're quite open deep. If he can get it over the big congregation standing 40 out, it won't quite go as far as he would have liked. It gets there in the end on the bounce. Tim Callan, as we said, a late inclusion tonight. Just his 34th game of AFL footy, his 6th final. Bit sloppy out of defence that time. They're lining up Cloak and Maxwell. Will he go for it? No, he doesn't. Adjust the kick for McCaffar. Got used to the big stage last year. Here's Didac. Tuvey. And Dane Swan. You're not quite the penalty. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Your point on the defensive forwards. I think it's okay to try and slow the game down early, but as the game evolves, obviously it's about who can score the most, and the Western Bulldogs, you don't think they'll be able to hold Collingwood for the whole game. So I think they could start like this and maybe adjust a few positions at quarter time. You see the goalpost cam, and great work from Dane Swan, handballing over to Pendlebury. It's now 9 inside 50, so 4 in favour of Collingwood. So they're starting to dominate around the midfield area.
Well, they win first quarters repeatedly, this Magpie team. They've won 17 of 22.
So often they have just one too many midfielder for their opponents, and so it was then as Pendlebury kicked the first goal of their finals campaign. There's a Bulldogs free kick. The ball will come back.
We spoke of how good Jared Grant was last week. This bloke, Callan Ward, had 26 disposals, by far his best game of the season, and these conditions suit him down to the ground.
So it's taken just over half a quarter for the first goal to come. And again, the Bulldogs are taking the patient route. Now Lake, though, kicks long to Hahn. Oh, that was beautifully done by Sidebottom down to Thomas. Great effort by the young player. Didac giving it up there a little meekly. Addison to cross. Line beats Hahn, but the Bulldogs have it at the 50.
And the Bulldogs have got their 2 ruckmen on the ground, both of them, Hudson and Minson, getting set for this boundary throw-in.
There's Harry O'Brien being taken back to the goal square by Higgins.
Again, a clear night, helping the Pies cause. Didac went to ground. Callan right there with him. Side bottom. And Pendlebury so good at extracting the footy. Back to Thomas. Had his best season, averaging 6 disposals more than last year per game. Up to Dawes. Takes the mark. High kick, up and under. Hicken in the best position. Well done by Swan to make it a 50-50. Williams changes the odds, though. And it's Griffin that kicks it forward again. And it's Daisy Thomas's flank at the moment, but he's caught here, or is it in the back?
Well, that is just crude football by Big Will. He had him as a sitting duck and he just slammed him into the turf. Just a little bit of composure, Will.
Mightn't have been watching the latter stages last night. Perhaps was in bed, sleeping by then. Here go the Magpies. Beams into a good spot. Hahn the equal there, though, of side bottom. Picken crashing in, but arriving as ball. He misses. Magpies 1 goal from 6 attempts. Minson from behind Thomas. No doubt.
Well, that's just a ridiculous tackle by the big fella. He just needed to he had him blindsided. Grab him, roll him around, slam him into the turf, win the free kick for your team. Emotion got the better of him.
Collingwood lead by 9. Hargraves kicks straight into Travis Cloak. And that gets the Collingwood faithful on their feet. And that's what it does to the coach. He is priceless, Rodney Eade. We love him. Great smother, though, from Travis Cloak. Hudson the tap, down to Hahn. Gilby trying to improvise. Blair, what a story he is. Johnson kicks his second behind.
Well, it's 1-6, and Collingwood's inaccuracy is the worrying thing for Mick Malthouse this year.
And on these kick-ins, Walls, you can see most of the Western Bulldogs players favouring the opposite side of the ground. So Collingwood easy to predict where to work towards in their zone. They're the best side at keeping it inside their attacking 50.
Magpies getting on top in the arm wrestle. Gilby bravely. Long ball. Minson couldn't get under it. Reid was camped there. Collingwood's ball again, and the Dogs not able to block supply. 1 goal, 6. Collingwood start hitting the target. Look out. Here's Picken, though. Shocking kick by Reid. Eagleton, veteran for the Dogs. He has a lovely left foot. Just got too much of it. And O'Brien leads Higgins back. Collected calmly and places it well down the members' wing for Sharrod Wellingham. Ball getting away from him and crossing the line.
Lloyd, it's so important, that path out of defence for the Bulldogs. Every time we see Collingwood, we get numbers on the wing and towards the opposition half forward or half back. Very hard to pass.
Yeah, Western Bulldogs have to be willing to run, link up, go for a dangerous pass. They're probably just being too predictable, and Collingwood loves setting up across the defence.
Eagleton gives Higgins a bit of a sniff here. He worked the numbers pretty well, knowing that the odds were against him. It's a good effort to get it so deep. But Heath Shaw resilient. Works nicely off Brad Johnson. Teams up with Tuvey. Shaw's running, and he's trying to...
He's gone the torpedo on the run with a slippery ball. Not the best option in the world. His defeat of Johnson in the one-on-one was fantastic. His follow-up work was terrific, and then he's just blown it with a mongrel off the side of the boot.
That's Heath Shaw. Picken, son of a Magpie campaigner of many grand finals. Deep in the Bulldogs' attack. Skipper Maxwell, captain of the team, captain of the defence.
Now there's the torpedo. Tyson Goldsack, his teammate, he gave us a few torpedoes from full-back. Not in the team anymore.
Bulldogs need a goal. Minson bringing it down. Stolen by Ward. Just tackled on the kick and probably overcompensated. It curled well for Addison. Thomas has him well covered.
Here's one. There's another matchup, Addison and Thomas, and there's another. Picken is also running with Sharrod Wellingham. So they're going one-on-one all around the ground tonight, the Western Bulldogs.
What do you think about that, Lloydie?
Oh, I just think you've still got to kick a winning score, but I don't mind it. They get to off, 10-point gap at quarter time.
I guess the bottom line is, you'd say at the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, if Collingwood's kicked 1 goal, you'd be happy.
Yeah.
Only problem is you haven't got one yourself.
Harbrow might be able to change that. Lift the spirits considerably. If they could just land one without conceding another one, it would be a real moral victory for them heading towards quarter time.
Exciting having Harbrow playing in the front half. Shown a bit of dare, Rodney Eade. I like that.
The Dogs not yet finding a way through. Here goes Shaw again. I think he might use the drop punt. And he also sends it well inside the line, but straight to Lake, who has Picken and he has Ward, but he prefers the long ball towards Hall. 2 against him. Too much. Reid, strong effort. Needs to kick better than last time. Goes for length. 2 on 1 the Dogs' way. Minson did well. Down to Hargrave. Oh, too strong for Addison. Bazza again. Big swinger. Too much swing. Oh. They're missing from all angles.
Well, it's terrific effort there by Barry Hall. Ben Reid's taken a couple of terrific overhead marks in defence, but he's spoiled his good work with ordinary kicks.
Thomas to the wing. Brown playing in front. Well done from Lake. Kept it bubbling away. Swan, he just spotted the little man Blair. Smallest man on the Collingwood list. To half forward. Cloak can link with Wellingham. And it was all ahead of him. If he could just hang on, he couldn't. The extra body worked for the Dogs. Hudson, talking about not giving in though. Terrific stuff from Travis Cloak. The Bulldogs fight amongst themselves. It ends up all right. Murphy lost almost his pants and then the footy. And Pendlebury's going to give Cloak his big opportunity here. Davis got a good record against the Dogs. Ball's missed a couple now. No mark, play on. Callan, gritty stuff. Handball away. Pendlebury tied up against the line. The skipper has got Johnson behind him, and Luke Ball can have his 3rd shot at goal here.
Gee, you just love the ball being in Pendlebury's hands. Every time it's in his hands, something happens. Distance too far out for Ball.
And he realised that. And Dane Swan is well within range.
Rodney Eade to be disappointed that Swan was able to mark unopposed inside the forward 50 because, you know, all those Bulldog players should know that ball from 50 metres out can't kick a goal. Too far for him in these conditions, so he will try to pass it off, which he's done. They will sleep the Doggies.
5 goals, 4 from set shots, but 18-22 for the year. That'll improve his record and increase the Magpie lead. Out to 14, and in a low-scoring game, very valuable indeed.
Yeah, the game's been pretty even. I think it's 86 disposed to Collingwood, 83 to the Dogs, 11 inside 50s to Collingwood, 9 to the Western Bulldogs. Just the efficiency inside forward 50, which is far greater for the Magpies.
Not a jam-packed MCG, but a solid crowd, as you'd imagine, with Collingwood involved. Top of the ladder. Flag in sight. And they win it away again. Beams to the 50. Williams, big double-fister, but the Magpies are leading the race in more ways than one. Didak, Johnson, Pendlebury again. Danger man, drilling it.
He's unbelievably good, Pendlebury. Use by hand or foot. Lee Brown tells the big fella, have a shot for goal.
Really tough kick here for a left footer in Travis Cloak.
Pendlebury 6 disposals, 100% efficiency.
Now sometimes the tougher ones are somehow more easily kicked. This would be a crusher. From almost on the line. It is never offline. He has his 150th career goal, and the Magpies have skipped away.
And you wonder how he can kick that goal. And it was almost predictable, and missed the one from 20 out straight in front.
You're spot on, Hunter. I think it's the pressure. I think he relaxes more when he's on the boundary line, when he's not expected to kick it, but he gets in front. And he changes his kicking technique, which he's such a good player. It's an area he has to address.
Well, we all know about his woes in front of goals, but in the last 5 games, Travis Cloak has averaged 18 disposals, 9 marks, And until tonight, he kicked 11 goals, 14. He can miss them from 20 metres out, but he can nail them from there. And Collingwood suddenly lead by 20, and this is a very delicate situation for the Bulldogs. As Brad Johnson sends them away. Luke Ball a little disorientated for a moment. And now it is Boyd who kicks the ball into the 50. Higgins a bit of a spill. And O'Brien, and the machine starts to work again. And it's Tuvey off the line. And Thomas would have been away. Gilby was able to get it forward though, just shunting the Dogs to half forward where Brad Johnson spots Harbrow. And they need someone now to somehow find the goals. Will it be Jared Harbrow? Minson's drifting down. He's got to go here, Big Will. He won't get there in time. And when he did, he gave away the free and probably 50.
Well, umpire Razor Ray, very generous to Will. Second free kick that Will. Don't worry about that, Will. It's a free kick against you, and you're lucky you didn't get 50-metre penalty. He's given him 2, and then he reckons he's hard done by.
So Collingwood's ball again. Bulldogs badly needing a goal before quarter time, and we're into the last 2 minutes. Thomas just overcooking that. Beams, Dogs there in numbers. Cross just missed Gilby with his paddle. Important hand in from Griffin, but Collingwood looking like prevailing. Griffin gets back in there. He's had a good quarter. 10 disposals. Ryan Griffin will be a ball up.
Barry Hall's been off the ground for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They're trying some different things. A smaller forward. I think Jared Grant, when he can't run, he has to get more physical in the contest. He hasn't got a big body, Jared Grant, but in a wet, slippery night in a final, he has to stand stronger in the one-on-one contest.
And you can see the kicking efficiency has been a problem for the Dogs. Ryan Griffin has had 7 kicks, but only 1 of them have hit the target so far. Wallingham tries to get it forward. Boyd, good physical, strong work. Swan won't mind it. In fact, he'll relish those conditions. Callan takes it out.
The ball's on the wing, and Maxwell's loose man in defence. I don't think Rodney Eade can allow that, because Maxwell just sets up so much attacking play back there.
So the Dogs are using the extra man around the contest, it seems. And it's just Hahn just staying just off the back of the contest. And as Rob said, the extra Collingwood number is coming into play right now, because Maxwell's about to get there. Good tackling from there he is. There's Maxwell. Got it to side bottom. So they win it. And they go forward. And it's 1-on-1. Murphy wills himself to the front. McCaffer, whose job it is to try and nullify him, but he's given away the free.
So inside the last half minute. And Murphy goes for broke along the southern wing and drives the Dogs forward in the Grant direction. Well covered by Reid. Harbrow to Griffin. Still a chance. Higgins and O'Brien. Well done, Harry. And the line's his friend. Johnson looking for a nod from the umpire late in the piece. Still 9 seconds left from the stoppage, and the Dogs with a chance to have a crack at it. Boyd out of the air. Jared Grant, 6 goals last week. No dice here.
Gee, good play by Boyd there.
What will be going through Rodney Eade's head, do you think, Lloydie? They tried by 19.
Well, it's a big risk he took, because he's spent all 6 months planning how they play, and they've tried something different in the week. So he'll stick with it, but if it doesn't work halfway through this second quarter, he's got to go back to the Western Bulldogs he's known for his last 3 or 4 years.
The Pies are nice and pumped. They've kicked 3 goals, 6 to 5 points. We're away in this, the second of the qualifying finals, and the opening weekend of footy. Back in a moment.
So second term underway. The Bulldogs have just had their first goalless opening quarter of the season. Last time they achieved the dubious feat was round 19, 2009. So the Magpies have strangled them. Hudson gives to his mate Murphy, who kicks long. O'Brien ran under it. Minson and Hall. Baz has got a chance here. Gian Syracuse. I don't think that's been touched yet. Johnson misses.
Got the 2 big fellas on the ground, the Bulldogs. Minson playing forward pocket on Maxwell.
Out to Pendlebury. And now he can go. And Dawes sees some openings ahead. There's some gaps to find, and he can find one.
Gee, it's a good kick.
Didak hasn't really got going yet. Spent the first 10 minutes off the ground. Little Blair, wouldn't he love to kick a goal in the final? As he gets the feel for the September action, he just misses. And it's 3-7 to 6 behind.
See the Magpies there go coast to coast with effective kicking. Ryan Griffin had 12 disposals in the first quarter. Only 2 of them were effective, 9 kicks, and only 1 hit the target. So Griffin and the Dogs need to use the ball far better than they have in the first quarter.
Magpies zone has Lindsay Gilbey guessing, and in the end he goes for territory. Williams using the body on Dawes, and the Bulldogs at least work it to the wing.
Gee, he runs with a strange gait at the best of times, Brad Johnson, but I'm sure that Achilles is worrying him. Have a look at that. He doesn't look right at all.
Should they have played him, do you think?
Well, I guess they had enough out of the team. He's the captain. You give him a chance if he thinks he can help, and I'm sure he believes he can.
Cross's kick falling short. Brown stands in the way for the Magpies. Pumps it long in the Didak direction. Recovered it beautifully. Thomas, Swan, the machine. Didak again. 3 of their best. And there's a 4th. Pendlebury back to Swan. Collingwood pressing. Bulldogs under siege. A whistle. A Collingwood free kick. Advantage called. And Thomas drives it home.
That's where Collingwood have changed their game this year in comparison to past years. They work the ball around the boundary, but then they go long inside 50, and that's Mitch Hahn. That's a clear free kick over the shoulder against Travis Cloak. And obviously the advantage there, Blair was onto that over to Dale Thomas, but wasn't against Brian Lake, against Mitch Hahn. 2 small contests against Travis Cloak.
Well, you can see there, Hahn hasn't played much in defence, and he's up against a very big, strong man there. At the moment, Hahn's playing on Lee Brown.
It's in danger of coming apart at the seams for the Bulldogs. This Collingwood machine just starting to warm up. Deep inside 50, there's bodies flying everywhere. There's 2 down for the Bulldogs.
Blake and Williams, the 2 key defenders, both hurt.
As Murphy comes away with the footy and services cross. He's got Eagleton at half forward, or Minston longer. The leading Brad Johnson, Heath Shaw worked him out of it very easily.
I think Lake's got a shoulder problem. I think Williams will be okay. Lake's coming off, shoulder or elbow. You can see he just topples over here. Oh, comes down on the elbow.
Can all fall apart so easily. Jolly, Pendlebury. He's in superb touch. This time the free kick goes the way of Mitch Hahn.
50 metres.
And 50, so maybe a change of momentum and fortune for the Bulldogs.
Now it's their ball use, Hutto. Mitch Hahn, not the best ball user, but this is where they have to find something. Collingwood are generating so much more inside 50.
Maybe he just goes for it, Lloydie.
I reckon he goes for it, Hutto. He sprays them, but he can kick a long ball.
Not a look of total confidence. He owes them one. Let's see if he can get it back. It's come off the sweet spot, I reckon. Terrific way to bring up the opening goal.
And that'll be terrific for Mitch Hahn's confidence. Gave away the free kick, cost his team a goal only a couple of minutes ago. That's the great thing about football. You can bounce back straight away. Make a mistake. As long as you keep on having a crack, it can go your way. And by the look of that, I reckon big fella might be all right.
We've got the line balls covered here with goal cam. And
Brad Johnson.
Oh, definitely a goal.
A Mitch Hahn special, breaking the drought for the Bulldogs. But here go the Magpies again. Swan, Blair having a look, placing it well, and Callum outreached. by big Leroy Brown, who can go back and line them up.
Well, you say outreached, Tim, and he was. The weather's fine now, and Mick Moldhouse has got his 3 big forwards out on the ground. He's got Lee Brown, Dawes, Travis Cloke, and with the injured Brian Lake, he knows that the Bulldogs are very short in defence.
He's a man to have you believing in reincarnation, as his 3rd football life is proving his best, although that wasn't his best kick.
But the 4-0 forward just shows the efficiency that Collingwood, they're getting easier shots at goal, whereas the Western Bulldogs are really having to scrap for their opportunities.
Wolsey, I reckon Lake's going to be right to kick. In fact, he's coming back on as we speak. Williams might be of greater concern down the track
here. I was just going to say, Williams did not look good at all coming off the ground. Big kick in from Gilby, but Dawes towering above the pack, takes the mark, thought about giving it to Johnson, gets a call from Cloke Long. Davis is deep, so is Brown. Settles instead on Johnson to be the set-up man. Or maybe he's got greater ambitions in mind. Across the face it drifts and right into Cloke's hands and out again.
Again, a big man almost taking the mark, and they'll just keep peppering it down there, knowing they've got the big fellas. OK, Lake's back on, but Williams is off there, still under man in defence, the Dogs.
So boundary throw-in. Jolly engages Hudson. The Bulldogs man got the tap. Cross where he so often is at the coalface. Griffin heaving it forward. Here's Nathan Brown. Big job on Barry Hall. Dale Thomas, what a collect. What a season he's having. Maxwell bombing away. Cloke just full of gusto, hitting it so hard.
Yeah, well, he didn't take the mark, but he crunched a Bulldog in his path. And at the moment, Barry Hall is more on the half-back flank for the Bulldogs than in the forward line. So they've got no forward structure whatsoever, the Western Bulldogs.
So much physical presence about those key Collingwood forwards. Cloke, Dawes, and to a lesser extent Brown. Minson held there. Unlucky not to get a free. Johnson to Beams. And swings it forward again. Jolly, Lake arriving. Oregon, it's not out on the full. And Dawes is a chance from the angle. He found timber.
And they create so many chances, Collingwood. And there's another one, they get lucky, but they want to be so careful. Obviously, when they step up in class over the next few weeks, it wouldn't want to cost them a flag.
And that was nearly very costly for the Dogs. They still might feel some pain here. Tuvey to Dawes again, funneling it in through their big man. There's the opposite Blair. Oh, sets a terrible task for penalty, but he's good enough to ride it out. Didak can give Thomas another opportunity. An accidental kick. He might get... Oh, he's given away the high contact there on Hudson.
Come on, mate. Back here.
So Michael Vozzo insisting it come back. Hudson going to ground there, perhaps the ball getting away from him. And it was a rather obliging high tackle that came from Thomas in a very vulnerable spot for the Dogs. The big ruckman clears long and well marked by Higgins. But it's all defence at the moment for the underdogs. Hahn swinging it forward. Not much there for the Bulldogs. Pretty easy for Swan, and it just keeps coming back. And there is a feeling about it at the moment that the Magpies might totally swamp their opponent. Hahn the spoil. Bulldogs just trying to stay afloat. Blair, good kick. Dawes there, and he can line them up.
Just go back to that. The Lindsay Gilby tackle on Blair, the little fella, was just really poor. Really poor. Blair gets past him, pops it on the boot. Another mark in the forward 50 to the Magpies. And Lindsay Gilby, an experienced player, has just got to do better than that. You've got to block the run. There it is there. That's a tackle that's so easily broken. Ends up probably costing them a goal. Now, they do need to kick goals, Collingwood. They are dominating everywhere, and yet they are only 21 points in front. They need to bury the Dogs in this quarter.
And Dawes sets them on the path to doing it with his first.
Spot on, Wolsey, with the Lindsay Gilby tackle. Instead of a body-on-body hitting Blair, he's just put an arm out. So He had to be stronger. He's one of the senior Western Bulldogs players, and don't want to take credit away from Blair, though. That was a great finish inside 50.
Well, these Collingwood forwards right now are going to be licking their chops. They're down a man. We know that Brian Lake's got the shoulder. Tom Williams has gone down underneath. It looks like a knock to the hip or to the low rib cage area. It's something internal, hard to ascertain. He went down downstairs about 5 minutes ago and hasn't reappeared at this stage.
Thank you, Andy. 5 marks and a goal already for the big man, Chris Dawes. This time it's the Dogs free against Wellingham. And it's going to Daniel Cross. He gets up and under that one. Desperate lunge from Gian Syracuse. It comes up short. Harbrow tried to be inventive, but it didn't work out. Boyd tries to see offside bottom, but that's easier said than done. And this gathering Collingwood storm continues to build momentum along the wing. Look at Didak, hit it hard. Cleared the path for Luke Ball, who gets pummeled. High, said the umpire. I'm not sure about that.
Well, the Doggy supporters nearby, they think that's a dreadful decision.
Wants to move it, Luke Ball. He could be heading for a grand final against his old team. Who knows?
Hutto Williams is back on the bench and ready to go.
Ball into Johnson. Lee Brown is deep in the square. He goes shorter than that to Cloak. Minson improvising as a key defender at the moment in the absence of Williams. There's Callan trying to sort things out off halfback. Boyd and Cross to half forward. Gian Syracuse just slightly out of position. That was all Maxwell needed. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile, these Pies. As the ball goes out of bounds. Now Tim Callan involved in an incident off the ball with Leon Davis. Let's have a look at this. Not sure how much there was in that.
It's a small forward trying to shake a player that does not give you an inch in Tim Callan.
Ward squeezing it out, but straight to Pendlebury, who gave it back. And Ward gains 30 metres. The Magpies say deliberate. Ray Chamberlain agrees. He was running towards the boundary. I thought that was a pretty tough call. Swan for Collingwood. Pendlebury. Reid has a nice left foot on him. Griffin. McCaffrey's got him. Addison taking it over.
Gee, it looks bad for the Doggies, Lloydie. I know we're halfway through, a bit more than halfway through this second quarter. Rodney Eade's got his worries because he's got a bloke out there in Tim Callan playing his first game of senior AFL. Brad Johnson's only half fit. Higgins hasn't played senior footy for a long while, and Hahn's been out of the team. You've got Griffin, who's carrying injury.
And Minson's another one who hasn't played a lot of footy.
It just doesn't look good, and the ferocity at the football is Collingwood's way, and they're just going to hit in and hit in. The longer this game goes, I really fear for the Dogs. Once they get it into their forward lines, nothing's happening either, and that's the reason why maybe you got nothing to lose by putting Lake up forward, who can take a mark and kick a goal.
Here is Pendlebury. The umpire's going to bring it up.
It's against Pickens. He is working Wellingham over off the footy, and he's giving him a hell of a time. He's asking for trouble. The umpires are onto this.
Well, Wellingham's only had 3 disposals, Andy, so I guess he's doing a job there.
It's just that they need, you're right, Wolsey, they're prolific players in Johnson, Higgins and the like to start finding some more footy. Eagle and just the 2 disposals as well.
Wellingham sets them up. Thomas, in fact, they all stayed down. They're all looking at each other, except Addison, who takes the mark.
Gee, I tell you what, Picken got smashed. He was guarding the mark there, and Dane Swan just picked him off.
So Tommy Williams back out there. Scrappy exit, though. And it finds the boundary. That's about as good as the Dogs can muster at the moment.
Let's have a look at this. And you can see Dane Swan coming in. He was guarding the mark, Picken, blindsided. A tactic Collingwood uses a lot.
The wrestlers on between these 2 big tall warriors, Jolly and Hudson in the ruck. Away from Cloak and Williams again, and out of bounds. So we've reached the halfway stage of the second quarter, and so far Mick Malthouse would be fairly satisfied. They haven't quite been able to deliver the finishing blow at this early stage. They are swarming though and ready. Beams, a high kick. No one back in the square. Would take a fluky bounce. I tell you what, I had a crack. And that is now 5 goals, 10 Collingwood.
Collingwood's pressure has been that good that the 3 leading kick winners for the Western Bulldogs, Griffin, Cross and Boyd, have had 19 kicks between them. 2 have been effective. That's how big and strong the Collingwood's pressure has been so far tonight, and that's why they're just scrapping kicks inside forward 50.
But it's been like that for a long time, Lordy. I know the pressure of Collingwood's good, but players like Cross and Boyd just don't have any penetration.
Here's Thomas, options galore. He decides to go for Dynak, and that probably wasn't the best of them as Hargrave was able to cut it off and force it behind, and it's 5 goals, 11. Boyd just keeping that ball in play. 2 on 2, but the 2 Magpie men in perfect position, and Reid stopping everything that comes his way.
Inside 50s for the quarter, 13-2.
After they were 13 all in the first quarter. It's a horrifying look for the Bulldogs. Davis running it, not quite all the way.
Good chase there by Brian Lake.
And they've kicked 2-6 from their 14 entries. The Dogs have kicked 1-1 from their 2. Inches into the 50. So Lindsay Gilbey stands at fullback. He almost made a meal of it, just got the kick away in time. Williams has to go late, and he went and climbed and gave Boyd the opportunity to do that. Take it up towards the wing. Gian Syracuse had a look over his shoulder. He should have known that Tuvey was there.
That was really bad play by Gian Syracuse, and it just demoralises your team when a senior player's asleep and gets knocked over like that.
He goes with the floaters, Tuvey. Just kept on going. They're making it up as they go along the pies. Look at Thomas. He's ready to go. He just couldn't take it.
You've got to realise there's some urgency, Gia. Go for the footy. That is just so ordinary. Senior player gets bowled over like that. Go hard at the footy.
Despite the wave of entries that Collingwood have had, it's just 2 goals to 1 for the quarter. Here's the ball kicked in straight to shore. Cloak there too for Collingwood. Reid again. It's a matter of time for the Magpies. There are numbers there, and it'll be Lee Brown lining them up. And the Bulldogs looking, even this early, just about a broken team.
You're right, Tim. It's like the damn wall's about to collapse, and they just cannot get the ball past centre, and if they do, it's a scrap. So they deserve some reward, though, the Magpies. They'd look up at the scoreboard, they'd see 5 goals, 13. He's had a good year, Lee Brown. Can miss a few, but they deserve to be further in front.
Missed last week, suspended, but 14 goals from his last 7 games, and he's on his average right now with a goal before half-time.
Once again, you just see so many Collingwood jumpers outnumbering than this. 3 on 1. And Lee Brown too big on Lindsay Gilbey there. So haven't got too many answers for the Western Bulldogs. They have to start getting their ball users and their blokes like Gia, as well as he said, into this game.
"37 points at the mighty MCG. It's a familiar venue for Collingwood, and they're playing like that. The Bulldogs have got many woes, and they are multiplying by the minute. Hahn gets pushed out of the road. Ward, you know, he'll have a crack, but Ball does what Ball does best. In, under, winning the footy out. This time, though, it goes astray. Murphy and Griffin. Gian Syracuse was waiting, and he found Griffin working hard this time and pumping long. Hall shrugs the shoulders. Got to hope that it's going to go all the way. But O'Brien was under it.
Another injury problem to the Bulldogs. Ward coming off.
Looks like a wrist here, Wolsey.
Well, it just gets worse.
Get Gian Syracuse into the midfield. He's had 3 touches for the half. Get him in there, knock a few blokes over, get a bit of blood rushing in the body because he's just sitting across half forward. Not getting it.
Browns had a lot of carry. Too much for the Magpies. Lake able to mark it. Delivered to Griffin. Harbrow. Griffin. Outside him, Higgins. Griffin has a look at the corridor, but just can't see anything he likes. Hall will have a couple against him. He read it well, but he put his hands in Brown's back and grudgingly gives the footy up.
There it was.
However, Brown turns it over to Cross. To Boyd. Hall again. Again, the hand was in the back. Bazza won't like that.
Don't get near him, umpire.
Wasn't much of a push. Umpire Matthew Nichols, they say he can handle himself too. Harry O'Brien, you're taking your life into your hand.
It's got a bit of a feel about it all of a sudden out there, doesn't it?
Well, Barry's got a third chance to put a hand in the back.
Well, they've got to think about next week, the Dogs. No, they're just trying to win tonight's game, but they can't go too stupid. Into the pocket, Tuvey, Higgins. Boy, well done, and Higgins needs to use his class, and he does. Barry went to O'Brien again after that went through.
Exactly what Higgins needs to do. He's not a huge ball winner, but he needs to make it pay inside 50. And I think he's got to break the shackles, forget about the glare to kick a winning score.
Interesting exchange.
They've got Gian Syracuse in at the bounce.
Collingwood ball.
The free kick. Warning Will Minson of something he was doing at the other end of the ground.
It's 3-7 to 2-2 for the quarter. Not bad for the Bulldogs under the circumstances, but it's about to get... No, it's not going to get much worse. Beams kicks his third behind, and his season's scoreboard is 25 goals, 31. He's Collingwood's fourth best goal kicker, but his accuracy rate not great. Gian Syracuse, support from Lake. Now Addison goes for Johnson, needed to hang on to it. Shaw did the job for Collingwood.
The inside 50s are 32 to Collingwood, 19 to the Western Bulldogs, but I reckon their last 3 or 4 minutes they've taken the game on and they've got one-on-one contests, which is what they have to keep doing. I know Barry Hall's given away a few free kicks, but I'd back him in most times against Ben Reid and Nathan Brown.
Boyd decided to take it out of the ruck,
which he often does.
You wish he didn't now.
Look, with 5 minutes to go, if they can get the next goal, the Bulldogs, they're only 4 goals down, playing as badly as they have.
Thank you very much.
Ray's got them sorted on the wing.
Gian Syracuse has been given the job on Wellingham, just trying to get him into the game now.
Johnson tempered the kick and made it work perfectly for Chris Dawes, who's got Lee Brown working hard, pushing down into the goal square. Dawes spots him now. Leroy's ready to come at the back. It's got his name written over it. He couldn't take it. Well done for the Dogs. Good, strong stuff from Hudson. Takes the mark and gives it off to Gilby. And maybe they've got a little bit of confidence out of the last few minutes. They need their big players, such as Boyd, such as Griffin, to run with confidence and to kick the ball deep. Higgins was leading back to the goal square. I don't know why he didn't keep going. In the end, the ball might beat him there and dribble through. Somehow it's a goal. Is that the spark?
That was a great work out of their defensive 50 from the Western Bulldogs, and they found the free man. That's what they've got to do, be able to run and carry the football. And Griffin, good on him. He's decided that he can kick the goal, although Higgins was in a good position. But the work rate of the Western Bulldogs has lifted.
Well, the coach has done the block.
Can we get some of those goofy sound effects?
But you can understand why his team's only 4 goals in front and they've dominated the first half. Have a look at the scoreboard. Collingwood have kicked 6-14. They're the most inaccurate team in the competition. And it just hurts. And it just means that the Doggies have got some hope.
Nick overtakes Kevin Sheedy tonight. Doesn't look as though he's in a celebratory mood just at the moment. Here's Harbrow over the top. Bit of an aimless kick. O'Brien covering it. Higgins trying to corral him. Just couldn't hold him though. And O'Brien, in his irrepressible way, breaks and delivers to Brown. Lee Brown and 50 against Picken.
Didn't see a lot in that one.
No, looked very tough.
He was just in the contest there picking, but the Doggies are taking the game on now.
So Brown into the 50. It's an awful looking kick and Murphy marks it well in front of Blair. And suddenly it's as though the Bulldogs are thinking attack, whereas early they were thinking purely defence. And while you can understand them going out with that kind of mindset, it didn't work.
No, maybe the plan all along, though, was to release at some stage. Almost St Kilda-like.
Ryan Griffin's had 19 disposals. He's in the centre square at the moment, and the run has gone out to McCaffrey. No doubt just be so tight until the siren goes at half-time, because Griffin's the danger man.
Side bottom waded through. Pendlebury had them guessing and kicks to full forward. Davis ready if it happens to hit the floor. It doesn't. Williams earned the free. Murphy takes it away just about in full stride. The Lake, and look at Brown. Both players uncompromising in their approach. Brown just a little bit cleverer. He just overstepped the chalk. Just.
Oh, it's out of bounds, I think.
Yeah, it is. He just overstepped the line.
Was it Razor Ray who was onto it?
I suspect it was the boundary umpire.
He was in perfect position, but I'm not sure that he got it right. The entire ball has to be over the line.
Cameras can be deceiving, I guess. Tim will give him the benefit of the doubt.
Bulldogs playing better. Right now it is a contest, although Collingwood have a significant break on the board. And here goes Maxwell. And he just rams it forward in his no-nonsense way. And he gets a result as Steele side bottom can line them up.
That really,
close to half-time.
That really hurts you. Nathan Eagleton's coming off the ground. That'd just be part of a rotation, but they just needed to hang on with 3 minutes left in the quarter, and you just get caught behind here. He had to be arm across Steele side bottom on that occasion.
That's your mark, mate.
Kick 17 for the year. Useful contributor around goal for Collingwood. And this just to steady things and calm his coach a little, and he does it.
Fair bit of lip going on there, Nick Maxwell and Higgins. I think the Doggies are frustrated and are looking at those type of players. Shaw, O'Brien, Maxwell. They've probably played the game on their terms a fair bit tonight, and it's a bit of frustration showing out.
Nick Maxwell just giving a mouthful to young Higgins here after that goal. He was the one who set it up to side bottom. And I reckon he's saying to him, couldn't run with Harry, could you? You couldn't go with Harry.
It's a block against you, Will. You're free.
Free kick goes to Brown, who looks chock full of confidence, gets a low ball in. Tough one to handle for anyone. Dane Swan's onto it though. And it looks like another behind. No, in fact, he's missed everything. So big 2 minutes here for the Dogs.
I think Robert Murphy's had a great quarter, and I think they need to release him into the midfield, maybe midfield forward in this third quarter.
Beats everyone. Minson tried to help it on its way.
And I think players who have been in the VFL in the last month or so, that's Will Minson, Brad Johnson, and also Higgins haven't played a lot of footy. It's really shown out in this first half.
Again, Maxwell is spare man in defence, and he's such a dangerous player to let run free. Set up that last goal for his team.
Luke Ball gets a mini kick out. Wellingham, Boyd, Jan Syracuse, a good scrap with Shaw. Jared Grant has not really seen much of it tonight. In fact, he's had just 2 disposals. He looks like he's playing under the bright lights a little bit for the first time.
Yeah, and have a look at Maxwell. He just reads the play, says, I'll get back in front of Barry. I'll help out young Brown there. Make it a 2-on-1.
Collingwood by 31. Bulldogs needing one before half-time, and they'll get a chance here. Thomas gives away a free, not the first one he's given away tonight. Addison sees Hall moving, but he doesn't favour him with the kick. It didn't favour Maxwell, it just seemed to float away. But Hall's outnumbered. Brown to Maxwell, just banging it into space along the southern side, and might be coming back. Williams cross there for the hand pass. Giving it to Hargrave. Ambitious kick. Poor kick. Collingwood's ball.
Kicking efficiency by the Bulldogs 50%, Collingwood 61.
So Bryant goes back along the wing, hoping for Cloak and hoping for Didak. And Didak can see it all ahead of him. You can see Wellingham in the middle. He's designed it pretty well. He's kept on coming. Davis is ready. Even hits the ground. Davis is so light on his feet and he works it back for a behind.
Leon Davis, that's just his fourth disposal. So they're the type of moments he's got to take because his position is on the line with a preliminary final spot in a couple of weeks' time.
He's laid just one tackle, but he does a lot of chasing that doesn't get rewarded as tackles. #1 tackler in the AFL in the forward 50 is Leon Davis.
It's a big night for him. Lake. Long ball towards Minson. Belted away by Lee Brown. A lot of Magpie fans wondered about the recruitment of this fellow by Fremantle and North Melbourne, but he's certainly been good.
Have a look at the inside 50s. Domination by the Magpies, and yet they've kicked 15 behinds.
Higgins put under pressure. His hand pass somehow found Griffin. He's under pressure too. Ward, Hall just can't break through even with his brute strength. Magpies hold up. Tuvey. And there'll be a ball up, and that will be it, barring a free kick and a 50-metre penalty, because it's about 80 metres from the Bulldogs' goal, and it's going to be Collingwood with a very handsome lead at halfway in the first final of this series, which their tens of thousands of faithful hope will be the year that breaks the drought, and they're 32 points to the good.
And they're looking pretty good, Tim. Got the big fellas up forward who are too big and strong for their Bulldog opponents. They're winning the clearances. Dane Swan can't be stopped. Pendlebury's getting plenty of it. Maxwell just controlling things across the half-back line. Only thing they haven't done is get goals on the board. Had plenty of opportunities. Need to get that right in the second half, the Magpies.
They just need to get more ball inside 50, and they're still in with a chance.
Second half underway then from the MCG. And what will the Bulldogs' motive operation be, do you think, boys? Lloydie, do you think that they'll be more attacking as they seem to be in that second quarter?
Yeah, they have to take the game on and try and get it into one-on-one opportunities, and don't give Maxwell and those guys time to get back.
Sneaky kick from Swan. Brown, the massive ball. Didak, can he outlast Murphy? He kept it in, but that just meant that it was going to go the Bulldogs' way. Lake, Hargrave, Gian Syracuse, the only option that would take his best kick to get there. Nice bounce for Gian Syracuse. He was able to bring it into cross, and they've worked their way out for the moment. And then it was only a short moment. Out of bounds on the full. Crowd letting Gian Syracuse know all about it.
Well, their kicking efficiency has dropped below 50%, the Bulldogs. They're persisting with Harbrow playing up forward, and I think that's good because he's certainly got a fair bit of it.
So McCaffrey, not Maxwell, the recipient. Long to Lee Brown. Couple of big fists against him. But Collingwood making the running at the start of the second half, and perhaps looking to really close this out early. They lead by 32 points, and if they kick the early goals, I think there's no coming back for the Dogs. Hudson, third time tonight he's come down with it. That time he was nearly in trouble. Collingwood working it around. Leon Davis still goalless. Still goalless after that. Johnson, the smother. Thomas started on the bench, was on within about 20 seconds. Picken tried to prize it away. Dawes.
Well, you mentioned Picken there, Tim, and he's got the job on Dane Swan to start this third quarter. Swan, 18 disposals in the first half, the most for the Magpies.
Hudson and Jolly. Thomas, who started the game so well. Swan, Pendlebury, back to Swan. No one back in the goal square. Davis will get there and put it through. His first of the night. And maybe just about finish the Dogs off.
Well, the kick was a beauty from Swan. Just have a look at this. You'll just see Dane Swan off one step. He's been able to roost that 50 metres hard and flat. And it just cleared the Bulldog defenders and set Leon Davis up. Wonderful kick.
And to make matters even worse for the Western Bulldogs, up the other end of the ground, Barry Hall, we can confirm that in the second quarter, the emergency umpire has reported him for abusive language after that incident with Harry O'Brien.
So it just keeps getting worse for the Dogs. Good pressure here from Picken on Swan, and Griffin comes away with it as the Dogs look for an answering goal. Reid having all the answers there against Grant. And the line is the best that Addison can do. And he's perhaps a little lucky to get away with that. And there's a sigh of disappointment from Magpie fans. That looked pretty deliberate to me, but Ray Chamberlain saw it from a different angle. And if Ray couldn't spot it, I dare say it was unspottable.
Doesn't miss a trick, Ray.
Griffin. Gian Siracusa. Not a bad kick. Hall shepherds it home. The Dogs come up with an answer.
I think that's what they need, the Western Bulldogs, to get their better ball users forward of centre, and that's where I'd love to see Rob Murphy. I know you can't have them all centre forward, but Robert Murphy, Jared Harbrow, Daniel Jean Siracusa, they're the three keys by foot to the Western Bulldogs, and we saw Gia's finish there. He needs to lift and have more bits of play like that in the second half.
So something for Rodney Eade to work with, perhaps.
Now, Swan's gone to half forward. Didak's gone into the midfield. And Pickens decided to stay in the midfield on Didak.
Luke Ball and Thomas, they work together to free up McCaffer. Pendlebury forward of the ball. You can see him there, ready for Johnson. Untimely error. Cross has got Harbrow bolting across the MCG. Trying to get the ball across to the outer side of the ground where Pickham was ready. And he takes it and looks inside and finds the skipper.
Yeah.
Higgins or the goals. He goes for somewhere in between. And that's the result.
Neither one thing nor the other, really, the kick. Thomas goes for Jolly. Picken arrives. Fighting very hard, Liam Picken. He is nothing if not a fighter.
You love the way he plays, Picken. And the worry for the Dogs, Swan and Pendlebury, the two best Collingwood players, 38 disposals between them. They're very hard to shut down.
Hudson and Griffin. Well done, Griffin. Addison playing forward. Thomas swinging it clear but straight to Johnson. And this time he goes a clear-cut pass, but Reid did it beautifully on Grant, and Thomas mops up and finds Dawes with pinpoint precision.
Yeah. Jared Grant just 2 disposals in over a half of football. Maybe time to give him a run up on the wing, Lloydie. Just free him up for 5 minutes, because the kid must be feeling terrible at the moment.
Lovely kick. Williams just couldn't go with Cloak, and the big Collingwood forward punches it long. Murphy got himself into a good posse. Davis nearly stole it. Callan cleverly controlled it, a left footer. Cloak. Griffin. Williams. Gilby just having to bang it back to midfield, or to the wing at least, and finds the line.
Lloydie, I really admire Ryan Griffin. Now, he's had 24 disposals. That's more than anybody on the ground. This is a young man who came into the game under sufferance, and he's really worked his way hard, and I think it's been his best season. But to be able to come up when you're not 100% and play like this, it's a feather in your cap.
Oh, he's been fantastic. He hasn't used the ball as well as he'd like, but he's really missed Adam Cooney tonight, just as they've missed Dale Morris across the back line. Could have released Rob Murphy if they had Morris in the defence.
So margin 31. They've broken even early in this third quarter. That could give them some hope. They can just wiggle their way back into the game with a couple more goals.
And they've had nothing out of Grant and Hall. Just and just 2 marks between them. Reid and Brown have really stood up well.
And only 3 disposals for the experienced Eagleton. Pendlebury couldn't find a way through. Grant did well that time to Minson. And now Maxwell's got some issues with the bouncing ball. O'Brien, a great ally, though. And look, he took it on his own. And he almost won the day. Stripped of it, though, by the ever-determined Addison. Pendlebury, it was clean. It's Brown, and there's Magpies galore out here on the wing. Didak can spring into action. Can use Jolly. There's Thomas there if they want one more give. He's 6th disposal of the third quarter coming up. And he's 17th of the night. They set sail. Wellingham waits if it hits the ground. It does, but goes away from him and over and out.
Relatively quiet night so far for Sherrod Wellingham. It's half a dozen disposals. Minson and Jolly. Minson holding front position. Brown stealing it though. Lee Brown, clever left footer, brilliant goal.
Well, he just gets better and better, Lee Brown. Been in the system over a decade now. Started with Fremantle, then North Melbourne. Been at Collingwood for a couple of years and is playing career best football under the tutelage of Mick Malthouse.
See the frustration there in Rodney Eade. Just Lee Brown, a big fella like that, at a stoppage. No one on him. So it's not good enough from the Western Bulldogs in defence, but they need to start trying things for next week. I want Murphy, Harbrow, those type of players, midfield forward. I think that's where they need to start playing now.
Swan saw that Blair was coming off the ground, onto the ground, off the bench to give them an extra number out wide, but it didn't quite work out the way he had hoped.
Well, Lee Brown will do the ruck work against Minson. Jolly's stayed on the field. He's down there virtually at full forward. And this is the man that's kept Josh Fraser out of the Collingwood side, and with good reason. He's in career best form.
Pendlebury has had 21 disposals tonight. There's Darren Jolly, 8 disposals. Lee Brown, a couple of goals, 4 marks.
Jolly's kicked 21 goals this year. It's a terrific return for an A-grade ruckman.
There's Minson, and there's Benny Johnson. Cross. Good turn of the body. Great awareness. Boyd, Eagleton, a quiet night. I wonder whether he'll still be in the team next week. Ball disposed of by Brown. Addison, they keep it moving. Harbrow opens the door for the smooth-moving Higgins, who has 3 pies and eventually is overwhelmed by the extra numbers. And Tooby comes away, can give it to Wellingham. Addison, they dogged stuff. But the Pies back up their work.
They're good in close.
As a team, they take it to the wing, where Thomas gives them a bit of dash and a bit of flair. A probing ball. Davis can't keep his footing completely, but you can't count him out. One more touch, and it could... Oh, I thought that might have been out in the full, but it'll be a throw-in. One more touch, and they would have been able to produce a goal, because Darren Jolly was on his own in the goal square.
So the Magpies with 2 goals to 1 for the quarter so far, and the knockout blow feels not too far away. Could someone deliver it here? Pendlebury to Swan. Disciplined kick to the top of the square, but late. Read the drop. And that's 50 against Jolly. Rear lapse. Indiscipline, just edging over and around.
That's where he's got to go, Brian Lake, before the numbers get back. Clear the zone.
Gilby to Hargrave. Long ball to absolutely nothing. Hall's arriving late. Look out, Nick Maxwell. Bence favoured him in a way in that it eluded him, and Bazza had to change direction. Maxwell's got it, and he does it very well. And Steele Sidebottom has the southern wing to himself for a moment. As beams over the top ball, that was a hospital ball. A low-level hospital ball, but still Collingwood control it. Tuvey back to Sidebottom. Centering ball is dangerous, just too long for Blair, and Cloak knocks it out to the boundary.
When just hard to work out. Lake was given that 50-metre penalty, Lloydie. He got to the middle of the ground, and then he decided to go sideways. If he had gone straight down, direct towards goal, it would have been a 2-on-2 situation, and that's what the forwards want.
Beams to Swan. Against the line, it's over and out. The margin's still 37.
Well, they would have looked at what Buddy Franklin did last week. I don't know Barry Hall hasn't got the athleticism. We see him taking another spell, but he got one-on-one opportunities, and that's what you want against Nathan Brown and Ben Reid.
Cross. Hudson Ball laying his 7th tackle of the night. It's beams, it's touched, it's play on. Didn't phase Brian Lake. Griffin, Eagleton. Cross working really hard for him on the wing. And making Lee Brown get those legs pounding. He's
out-sprinted Cross.
He has. And we'll call that a draw. And the Collingwood fans will call it a victory.
That's an amazing effort by Lee Brown. He out-sprinted a midfielder. And you can see the appreciation shown by the Collingwood supporters. Have a look at that. The big fella has got there first and used his weight and strength to create a contest ball-up situation.
Well, they weren't all applauding him when he first came to Collingwood. In fact, he had more detractors than fans, I reckon, but they've come to love him.
There has been so many times, though, Walsey, hasn't there, tonight, where they've been too strong in the contest for the Western Bulldogs.
He's a big man, weighs over 100 kilograms. It's around about 15 stone in the old money. He and Cloak and Dawes all about the same weight. And they really give Collingwood a formidable look. Brown working like a Trojan at the moment. Didak, that's a very clever kick for side bottom. Just defensive for a moment to set up Johnson. Bulldog down in there, and Swan's going to run into an open goal. He doesn't even need to.
Just a massive work rate, Dane Swan. He worked off Picken. You see him letting him know about it. Picken lost his feet in the contest just from Dane Swan being too strong, and he works so hard and hits the scoreboard as well.
Margin out to 43. Harbrow couldn't completely escape, but they did well to maintain some sort of control. Jan Siracusa, service perfect for Barry Hall. Good answer perhaps coming up for the Bulldogs.
Been starved of those opportunities. Gia hasn't had a great game with just the 9 disposals, but this quarter he's had 2 influential disposals, and that one is what Barry Hall's missed all night.
So Barry Hall, 43 goals in 19 finals, comes in and adds to his tally. He's kicked 1 goal, 3 for the night. And this is 20th AFL final. 685 goals in 272 matches. Barry Hall.
Puts him within 6 of his best ever goal kicking tally in a season. 80 in the Swans premiership year. Merv Williams used to say at the boxing, Bulldogs are throwing cream puffs at the town hall at the moment. Their goals really are just catch-up stuff. Collingwood in control. It's going to take a massive effort and a major turnaround. The margin at 37. Here's a break. Ward floating it. Jen Siracusa having to use the left, and to Higgins. Shaw played him close, played him well. And the Magpie fans like that too. Still a quarter and a half left. A little early to rejoice, but they're looking pretty happy.
"30 metres around. Maybe they could conjure another one here, and then who knows? Blair will be desperate to keep his place in this Collingwood team because they are on track for glory. It's just a matter of how much. Picking a high kick, Hall back with the fly.
Yeah, and again Maxwell, 3rd man up to help his fellow defenders. Courageous and smart, just reads it off the opposition's boots so well. You can see the captain there, 3rd man up, helping Brown out.
Johnson round the boundary, as Collingwood are wont to do. Loop ball. Maxwell, obliging bounce. Penetrating kick, Dawes, strong grab in front of a lesser physical presence in Gilby. Davis getting busy up there in this quarter. That's well chopped off by Brian Lake. He just has a magnetic touch about him so often. Griffin swinging it to not a bad spot. Higgins under pressure, and again the line is the best he can achieve.
But Higgins had the box seat there and just didn't go hard enough at the footy. He just coasted. And there's young Jared Grant, 3 disposals for the game. Love to see him, to bring him up to the wing, give him a chance to have a run. He's got really good pace. He's got plenty of toe. Give him a chance to use it.
Fantastic work from Jolly to swarm. Deep kick, Davis, bit of a standoff with Callum. And Didak just added to the mix, and Thomas, he was almost celebrating the goal before it got there, and it so nearly did. Hits the post in the end.
Well, he is a good celebrator, Hutto.
That's a very important part of the modern game, Rob. You might not be aware of that, but very, very important. Lloydie knows all about it.
Hargrave uses the corridor this time. Important though, they win the ball. And there's a lot of black and white stripes around it. Swan really starting to fire now. Pendlebury been good all night. Didak at it, but Picken came the other way. And as ever, didn't flinch. Got it to Boyd. Nothing pretty about it, but it was brave. Now Gian Siracusa with a good target inside. It is Grant. He breaks. He can steady from inside 50. And I reckon the oncoming man just was able to get close enough to distract him on the kick.
Higgins gave him an absolute mouthful out over that one, Lloydie.
And Rodney Eade, the word selfish just came out of his mouth there, Hutto. So he wasn't
you're a lip reader
now, so he wasn't happy. Jared Grant got the blinkers on, and that's not what you need in a final. You share the ball around. They're having a tough night as forwards, and Higgins should have been running into an open goal.
That's great play from Boyd. Whisks it away, gives it to Murphy. Had Johnson in mind. Maxwell came late, was effective enough. Harbrow had a hard time taking the footy with him. Cross, and Johnson lent a hand, and Harbrow can go to a couple of dogs. They sort it out amongst them, and it's Ward that will have the responsibility here of having the shot for goal. The margin is 6 goals.
Last 5 or 6 minutes have been good for the Bulldogs. They've shown a bit of energy.
And some resilience, which even if they don't win, I think is pretty important into next week. Oh, well, we've talked about Collingwood's misses, but boy, the Bulldogs have butchered some as well, haven't they? 5 goals, 10 tonight for the Dogs. 10 goals, 16 for the Pies. As O'Brien kicks to Didak.
And Didak just getting the ball a bit better than he needed, but it's okay. Blair to Cloak. And here go the Magpies again. 2 on 2. Davis roving. Didn't fall the right side, but now he's over it. Overran it. Picken, cross. Boyd. The Bulldogs wriggle away. Ward. And his only options are along the flank. Gian Siracusa, Johnson waved him inboard, but he gave it to the veteran who lines them up, but he finds the target elusive too. It's another miss.
Just one area in Brad Johnson's game that he's been deadly for such a long period of time. Just around the 500 goal mark, Brad Johnson, and just the 9 goals this year, down on his usual output from 12 games of footy.
Heath Shaw, who's enjoyed a bit more freedom in the last few weeks, pushing up to the wing, backing back with the flight as Luke Ball laid another 8 tackles tonight. Beams hacking it forward. Lee Brown, just a minuscule opportunity there. He's still going, and so is Lake. Now the umpire, it's a good decision in the end. Could easily have paid holding the man, but almost could have paid holding the ball as well. Maybe should have played holding the ball looking at the replay.
Cross buried in there, so a ball up close to Collingwood's goal. 3 goals, 1 to 2-4 in this quarter. Collingwood winning the term again, but marginally.
Kicking efficiency there shows the Bulldogs at 50%. Their worst effort this year was 55% kicking efficiency, so lets you know that they are well and truly down. You've got to give Collingwood a lot of credit for that. They've hit them hard, been constant, haven't let them settle.
Numbers against Grant. Maxwell doing it beautifully to Tuvey. That's an educated kick. And Darren Jolly can line them up from 25. Bit of an angle, but a very kickable shot.
Tuvey has played a fantastic game. They just keep freeing up the man. Wolsey spoke about it a bit. Maxwell on his own once again, and this is a really good finish in traffic. And this man floats forward so well for a ruckman, and I'll probably moz him, but such a good kick for a big man.
Well, he's their most accurate shot for goal. He's kicked 21 goals, 9 behinds.
You'd be on him from there, and of course you'd do your dough.
Well, you can see the funny side of things.
10 goals, 17 the Magpies, and that continues to be the Achilles in what otherwise is a very complete team performance.
When they met in round 11, they led by 36 points or 37 points at three-quarter time. The Dogs came home like a steam train, kicked 6 goals to 1. So they'll want to finish them off if they can. At the moment, they can't. 10 goals, 18 now, the tally mounts.
It's where the Western Bulldogs have really struggled to get the ball out of their defence through their kick-ins. They've obviously had 18 of them, and I don't think they've penetrated one. So they're probably going to chip it to themselves and try and get to a ruckman who can knock it over the back. Exactly. They're going down the middle here.
Not the gold sack torp from Hargrave. He finds the middle of the ground, and Shaw with a knock backwards actually puts it into the Dogs' attacking half, but O'Brien lets it hang before it finds Johnson. Now Thomas forward of the wing, and Collingwood keep coming. In the last 5 minutes of the third term, Didak, that's a lovely kick. Jolly there again, surely this time. This time he'll only be 15 metres out. The angle pretty similar.
He's a lovely shot at goal.
I couldn't miss this. You'd have what's left in your wallet all on him.
Ben Hudson gave a massive spray to Hargrave here. I'm not sure what he's disappointed. Maybe he wanted him to cut across, leave his man and go.
Lead 37. And Jolly extends it beyond 7 goals with an emphatic kick.
They average 8 goal kickers a game, the Magpies. That's their 8th once again tonight with that goal with Darren Jolly. Seen a lot of this tonight from the Western Bulldogs. Ben Hudson in your screen there takes out the mouth guard and gives a real spray. Hargrave, don't like seeing that. They're really showing their frustration that they're just not good enough here tonight.
Forward into the 50, but just as quickly as it went in, it comes out. Shaw after Maxwell, and now Johnson. Delicate kick was too much so, but Johnson makes amends. Thomas is having a superb night after a great season. Swan delivers for Dawes. Cloaks up all in the 50. Little Blair camped underneath, and Davis if it all gets past, but it doesn't. Tim Callan, the late inclusion, takes the mark. His first game for the season. He's in good form in the VFL. Just his 34th game of AFL footy. Lands on the wing. Oh, Blake with the one-hander. Margin at 43 into Hargrave. Next along the line is Eagleton. Good run from behind. Gilby delivers, hoping for Hall, but there was too much traffic in the road. And Lee Brown, as you said, Tim, wasn't necessarily Mr. Popular when he arrived. He's right up there now with the Collingwood fans.
Lovely ball, Dawes. Magpies look dangerous here. Didak back to Dawes. O'Brien, oh, good pressure, Addison, but don't argue, and it's a free kick to the tackler.
Thanks, Harry. Straight through, mate.
So Dylan Addison comes up with the footy. That's wayward. That is atrocious. Thomas and the Magpies can hurt here. Wellingham made a mess of it.
He's hurt.
Gee, that is amazing. It looks like his ankle, and in the most innocuous circumstances. Bad night for Sharrod Wellingham, and that might cap it off. It might be the end of it for him.
Mark's there.
Definitely a right ankle for Wellingham, boys.
Well, he'll have 2 weeks, you would imagine, to recuperate and hopefully be right for a preliminary final, assuming the Magpies get over the line tonight, which is highly likely. Brown clears. 2-on-1 the Bulldogs' way here. A little bit of pushing and shoving by Williams. Now a chance to size things up and deliver it to Cross.
Magpies still a man down at this stage. Let's see if the Bulldogs can use that to their advantage. Oh, they won't, at least not yet. Oh, Johnson overruns it and opens the door back for Boyd. He's had 21 disposals tonight, Griffin 28. Here's Wellingham being helped, assisted down the race. And as you said, just so innocuous.
Couldn't put any weight on it as he came off the ground, boys, and straight down to the rooms for Wellingham. Doesn't look that good.
So there's about 90 seconds left in the quarter. Griffin will battle on. Escapes McCaffer, heads to the top of the square. Shaw, terrific grab. Refusing to yield, and the Magpies deep in their defence, but still with a positive frame of mind. Thomas up to possession, 23 now. Launches for Didak. He sees it knocked away.
Here's Wellingham coming back with the flight, and then often you get your foot. It was just a bad roll. The ankle could be ligament damage there to Wellingham.
They come right in a fortnight, Lloydie.
Oh, you can get right. More so, I think he should be right grand final day though. But if he misses the prelim, it comes down to selection.
Long ball, Hargrave, Chance Johnson, but not much room to move. Remember, Fraser Brown tearing ankle ligaments in a preliminary final here in '95. And I think he spent most of the week in the hyperbaric chamber and played in the grand final, but very heavily strapped. But that was a week later, so 2 weeks back hopefully would be enough for Sharrod Wellingham.
Look ball. Time, boys.
Collingwood's footy inside the last minute of the quarter. You were talking about the mid-season clash between the teams, Hutto. I saw the round 1 game, the Sunday of round 1. The Bulldogs, coming off their NAB Cup win, were expected by everybody to win and start this season that was so full of hope in the right fashion. They lost that, and somehow the season has never been balanced since. Gian Siracusa here spearing it towards Eagleton. No impact. Swan giving it off. Beams receiving. Collingwood in control. 7 goals and a little more in front as we reach 3/4 time, and the Magpies look as though they're on the short route to a preliminary final. The margin 43.
Oh, just another dominating performance here. 29 scoring shots at just 16 to the Western Bulldogs. Can't believe how poorly the Western Bulldogs have used the footy tonight. Too many players underdone, and Collingwood have shown tonight with their pressure and their skill why they've been the most dominant side through the home and away season.
Bulldogs win another quarter with 4 goals to 2 to maintain their commanding position in the match. 84 plays 41 at the last change. A long way back for the Dogs.
One move they've made is Brian Lake going forward, Hutto. So that's something that next week, obviously they'll be playing the winner of tomorrow's game in Carlton and the Sydney Swans, and maybe they need to just bite the bullet and make Maxwell, Reid, Harry O'Brien worry about someone other than Barry Hall, because Jared Grant hasn't been intimidating whatsoever tonight.
And with Lake going forward, Mick Malthouse has got 3 big forwards, and all of these big forwards are much bigger than their Bulldog opponents. So this will be interesting to see whether the Collingwood midfield take advantage of it by setting up their talls.
So the Magpies take a 43-point lead into the last stanza of the match. Reid kicking long along that members wing. Well collected by Callan. Awful ball for Harbrow. Two bigger men against him, and Reid's got it. And this time he put it deeper, up towards the 50. Cloak covered by Williams. Gilby back to Williams, who looked hurt in the second quarter. He's come back well. Hard to Callan. This time he's able to control his kick. Not sure he's going to get a better result. Straight to Jolly.
There was a commanding presence, and he and Luke Ball have definitely added something, as well as the youth that have developed considerably this year. That's why they're a much better team than they were last. What will it all mean in a few weeks? We're going to find out soon enough. They're just about into the preliminary final.
Well, there's one key defender, if you like, for the Bulldogs. Mitch Hahn playing on Dawes. You got Williams playing on Cloak, and Hargraves on Lee Brown. Lee Brown's heading back towards the goal square, back left of picture. A high ball in there will put Hargrave under enormous pressure.
So McCaffer will look to complete the setup here. Sets it up for Lee Brown, who's in outstanding form. Is there nothing that this man can't do? This is the same Lee Brown, isn't it, that we've seen for 11 seasons? It's not someone else, is it, Wolsey?
No, it's the same Lee Brown. I've never seen him in better shape, Hutto. 11 years ago, when he played for the Dockers, I wrote a column about 3 puds.
You said he had a big backside, didn't you?
I said he had a big backside. Pavlich had a big backside. So too Hazelby. Got themselves fit.
So you take all the credit, Rob. Did you tell him how to kick?
I left that to Lloydie.
Of course, last year Lee Brown's kicking was a real problem, but this year until tonight he'd been fine. But this evening he's played another really good match, but he's kicked 2 goals too.
Peter Hudson had a big backside, and now he's in a Toyota Legendary Moments commercial.
Yes, and when he leapt at the end of that commercial, Tim, did you notice he didn't get very high off the ground?
He had it when he was playing, though. His ball, Didak hasn't been able to get his hands on it close to goal. Eagleton swatting it, soccering it.
There
straight to Maxwell. Bombing it. Here comes Cloak. Just ran under it. Beams for the Magpies, side bottom. These medium-sized players, they just keep coming at you. As does the below medium-sized Blair. Back to side bottom. Placing it well. McCaffer did the nice little nudge work with the hip and very nearly took the mark. Hard to pick and Boyd. Oh dear. It's all come unglued for the Bulldogs in the latter part of this season. And the outlook is bleak.
And have a look at the captain. He's just in the middle of the ground, hasn't got an opponent, and just issuing instructions left, right and centre. 18 disposals he's had.
Here's Picken coming through. Luke Ball paddled it intelligently for Johnson. 2 on 2 deep. Lee Brown again. Oh, he's given away the free. Involuntary, really. It's the touch and go one, isn't it, where the player's got the head over the footy and the umpire trying to protect them at all costs.
Gee, Hutto, if you were giving away the TV, I reckon you'd give it to Lee Brown.
Well, I'm not, even though Lloydie's been banned from giving away the TVs.
And that's a good thing.
Young sends his regards too, by the way, Lloydie.
Here's Lake up in the front half and putting it in the right spot. If Hall could get there, and he does, but well, he's still got a chance, and he kicks the goal via the goal post. Now, did the ball touch the post? Yeah. That's the question. Yeah. Razor Ray Chamberlain's asking the goalie and the boundary umpire.
Wonderful. We all clear? All clear.
Well done, Ray. He got the umpires in. Now, Mick Moldhouse not happy that they've got a goal. It'll be interesting to see whether the ball touches the goal post, the padding. Now, the lady behind there thinks it did.
He covered it with the forearm. Gee, how could you possibly see?
Now, could goal post Cam work that one out, Lloydie?
Oh, even goal Cam doesn't tell us.
They seemed pretty clear, though, on the boundary. Even Barry Hall seemed pretty confident that he'd protected the ball pretty well with his other armers. So give it to them, the Dogs.
I think they've got it right.
Very kind of you, Matthew.
What's that? Yeah, I think they've had a tough night.
Good thinking by Bazza to get the arm over it and shielded in that way. Could have broken his forearm, but he did it well and came up with a goal.
He's kicked 2 goals, 3, Barry Hall. Pies midfield just totally dominant. It's really from their defence through the mids, isn't it? Here's Didak. He hasn't been able to get off the chain tonight. G'day to Allen there.
And the other area, Hutto, which, as I said earlier, the Pies have taken their game to a new level. 23 marks between Dawes, Cloak and Brown. So powerhouse forwards dominating inside 50.
Jolly down, Bordos snatched away by Didak and marked on the line, the top of the square. And this man has an ability to sneak forward and kick goals. We've seen that through the year, Steel side bottom.
I didn't see a deflection. I've got to be able to hear it. I didn't hit
17 goals for the season.
Clever by Didak to put that on the outside of the boot.
Mark, can't do it. Thank you. Mark's here.
The doggies are saying it was touched off the boot.
Side bottom, another 17 disposals tonight. Already kicked 1.
That's it.
And he doubles that and restores the 44-point lead to the Pies.
Always got a smile on his face, this young fella, Lloydie. Enjoying his football, why wouldn't you?
Spot on, and that's an area, that's a really smart bit of play there from Alan Didak. But where the Pies have got it over the Dogs is midfield goals. You look at the Western Bulldogs, they've got 1 from Griffin, 1 from Gia, and that's about it. Whereas you look at the Pies, 2 to Swan, goal to Pendlebury, Thomas. See the Doggies players complaining that they touched the ball. There was a hand there from
Came
Rob
off
Murphy.
Bob Murphy's hand.
So a little bit of fortune for Steele's side bottom. Pick and breaks for the Bulldogs. It's open up there. Grant, Hall to help the youngster out. Harbrow, good tackle by Tuvey. One of the unsung men for Collingwood. He's played every game this year. Played the last 44 for the Magpies since early last season. They work it to Pendlebury. Collingwood in control. Margin 44. Haunting figure for them in finals. Thomas to Cloak. Threatened to blaze, then placed it. Williams fought hard. Didak. Well tackled. Holding the ball and the Bulldogs run on. Boyd to Williams. Hasn't stopped trying, Tom Williams. Picken wrestling it to Jan Siracusa. Now Murphy running from the back half. Good ball, but Grant slipped over. He gets it off the hand of Tuvey to Addison, to an unguarded goal. It just went the wrong way. Just about everything's gone the wrong way for the Bulldogs. Andy Marr.
Yeah, Tim, Ryan Griffin came off about 5 minutes ago. We know he's been getting plenty of the footy. We know he came in with that knee. He came off the ground, got a bit of treatment on his hammies and his calves and was told to go back onto the ground. He didn't look like a man who was comfortable going back onto the ground. Now, he is and he's okay, but it's all about next week for the Western Bulldogs, and they can ill afford to stretch Ryan Griffin beyond breaking point here tonight.
Oh, it's a good point you make, Andy, because I reckon he's been their best tonight.
And we'll talk a bit about next week and beyond for the Bulldogs momentarily, but over the top, here's Thomas getting it to Didak. He goes for one of his famous torpedo. It doesn't quite connect as he would have liked. It still might come good for the Pies. They're all circling. And it's a behind. They're 20th of the night, so 12-20-92 to 6-12-48 is the scoreline.
That's the 7th of the 20 that's been rushed. So it hasn't all been bad kicking. But it's a nice set of numbers for the Magpies. They are on their way to a week's rest and a preliminary final. Picken to Murphy, ran into a brick wall, half of which is named Maxwell. And the other half looks like Heath Shaw. And there was no way through for Bob Murphy. Hudson getting the tap and laying the tackle.
See Brad Johnson there in picture. Just watched him run back onto the ground, and he's really, really sore. Rob highlighted early in the match. Just wonder if he could even play next week. Just he isn't running very smoothly here tonight.
Shaw to within 30. Dawes in front. Hahn the spoil. Blair around the corner. And the wrong side. So it's 12-21. The question mark over the Bulldogs when hope was so high at the start of the year was the sort of configuration of age, because there was a core of 30 and overs.
Well, two of those, Ackermanis and Brad Johnson, didn't deliver what the Bulldogs thought they would this year. Barry Hall beyond expectations.
Thomas crafts the kick into the pocket. Not quite for Jolly. And the Dogs, through Gilby, get it to safety. Lloydie.
And look at the mark stats. I just think they've been too big and too strong, and it's no surprise that 4 of the top 5 are Collingwood players.
They certainly missed Dale Morris down there. Boyd can't wrest it away.
You wonder next week. I know Stack and Hill aren't sort of built for finals footy.
And they're not in favour, but I think they've got to think about taking a chance on youth and skill, Lloydie.
Especially a bit of pace, bit of finesse around goal. Obviously Higgins, Johnson struggled, haven't kicked the goal between them tonight, so they may have to take a chance on one of them.
Swan poking kick, and Griffin had the best read on it. Just escapes McCaffrey's clutches. And you can see the result. Johnson kicking for Murphy, who decided to keep moving, and in the end it turns out to be a reasonable decision. Here's Lake forward, but there is Ben Reid. He's had a stellar season. His 3rd year at the Pies. Really enjoyed himself. Haven't they missed that man, Adam Cooney? Gets the fist in. And whoever's going to beat Collingwood has to work out a way of reducing the impact of their half-back line. I mean, their half-back line, led by their skipper, just has so much influence on a game, don't they?
It is. I don't play through their men whatsoever tonight, so it's been easy for O'Brien, Maxwell to play the role they love to play.
Higgins, yeah, you can just see he hasn't got the fitness, he hasn't got the endurance, Higgins, to be able to push away from opponents there.
Well, he's had this condition, this thyroiditis, and as he does look short of a gallop and perhaps short of strength. Addison getting back to cover this, and goes further back because Hahn was in the clear. Thumping it long, but the Magpies have the numbers. In fact, they have them overwhelmingly. Didak well brought down there.
It's the danger of the interchange, Tim. Just blindsided Didak as a player came off the interchange. Wasn't aware that that was going to happen. Got a question for you, Lloydie. You played in a lot of final series. When you get to the finals, you get to September, your preparation, how does it change? You have a minute or two to think about it, but as an AFL player, in the last decade or so, just think about how you changed your preparation.
While you think about it, Lloydie, watch the skills of the Pies and watch Scotty Pendlebury in full flight. The Magpies are ready to go. Miguel Presidente's pretty happy. He'll be watching this replay at about 2:30 in the morning. No doubt he always does.
51-point lead to the Magpies. They're romping away with it. And the Bulldogs have next week to think about either Sydney or Carlton. Here's Higgins. Shaw with him every step of the way.
Yeah, well, on your question with the preparation, I think in '99, when we had a big win in our first final, went through the preliminary, we made the mistake of not training enough and used it as a break. The year after, in 2000, we kept our training loads up, didn't slacken off in the slightest. So that's the big challenge for Collingwood, getting the balance right. And for the Western Bulldogs, I reckon too many players are missing training. So in terms of, they've had illnesses, they've had players underdone. They need a big week on the training track to prepare for a cutthroat final next week.
Good kick by Eagleton, but not getting an immediate result.
And for the Dogs, I reckon if you can't train through the week, you don't play on the weekend, because I think if you take more than one underdone player into a final, you get found out, and I reckon there's too many who are being found wanting tonight for the Dogs.
Well, you got Callan first senior game, just 8 touches.
Jen Siracusa, Higgins couldn't break through Maxwell. Oh, well done, Shaw, bouncing out of Hudson's tackling attempt. Jen Siracusa not getting enough on the ball to elevate it. Swan, who does a bit of everything. And that was a perfect kick out of trouble. Little soccer contest there. And the linesman comes in and is going to throw it in the Australian way.
Well, in today's football possessions, everyone gets plenty of the ball, but Minson just 4, Grant 5, Higgins 6, Barry Hall 7, Callan 8. A lot of players down.
Harbrow with a full head of steam. Almost can land a goal, but there's been a lot of almost tonight, hasn't there, for both sides, as the scoreboard reflects. 6-13-49 to 13-21-99. So 19 goals and 34 behinds in front of 66,000 people here at the MCG. We should start talking about next Saturday night, because how huge is it going to be for the Western Bulldogs? And what an opportunity, not just for the Dogs, but also for either Sydney or Carlton. The Dogs obviously not going to be at full strength. The winner will then go on to play St Kilda. They were fantastic last night, but not unbeatable, you would think, depending on how they come up. So it's a big chance, isn't it?
It's amazing, Hutto, how it can happen. Like, North will go in next year quite confident. You go out in straight sets, and a lot of questions are asked of your playing list and players. And so it's a massive game for the Western Bulldogs next week. They've had too good a year, and there's a changing of the guard in this list with a lot of older players. So a lot will be said about the list and the direction it goes with the way they play next week.
Griffin, that was well done. Just not quite producing the result. Well, it becomes a major opportunity for their opponent, whoever it might be, after tomorrow's second elimination final between Carlton and Sydney. The Bulldogs are looking weakened at the moment, and you'd have to think their spirits would be sagging, because this season that promised so much, the possibility of a first grand final appearance since 1961. But right now, that is looking pretty remote. Johnson, tentative kick. There's a look of defeat about them. Griffin put his head into that and is lucky to come up with a kick.
Well, Ryan Griffin, this will be his 34th disposal, which will be the equal of Dane Swan. And I'm really pleased for him that he's played well.
It's a terrible free kick.
There's no doubt one that could have been let go, and should have been let go.
However, he did put his head over the ball, as he's done all night. He tried to set the tempo early. He's done his bit, and he's kicked a good goal.
Well, they don't give out Brownlow votes in finals, but they do give out TVs.
Have a look at the contested possessions. 17 to Dane Swan. Most by a mile.
34 in all his disposal, 6 clearances and a couple of goals. And Jared Blair ducks out at the opportune moment, but his delivery didn't match his hard work in the middle. Johnson getting perhaps some Bronx cheers out there. And here's Gene Siracusa to send the Dogs forward, but for how long? This is the part where Collingwood cut off so much at the pass, and it's Lee Brown as they start to just share the ball around.
Something that is relevant in those Dane Swan stats is the Copeland Trophy. He, you would think, is likely to win it for the 3rd year in a row, and only 3 Magpies in history have done that. Fons Kine, Bob Rose and Nathan Buckley. 2 have coached the club. 1 is going to in a couple of years' time, and Dane Swan might well join them as a triple successive Copeland winner.
Think he'll coach the club, Tim?
You never know. At that rate, he will. He won't be the first tattooed coach. Kevin Murray wore a few. Here's Thomas to Ball, whose tackles are in double figures, as they almost always are. Rare miss there by Lake. Boyd in trouble. Well tied up by Dawes. The siege goes on for the Bulldogs. And here is Swan. 2 goals for the night. And he pops it through for his third and brings up the Magpie century.
Keeps his feet, Dane Swan. See Bulldogs, his man Cross goes to ground. Cross at him, he gets the ball going, and that is a great finish there from Dane Swan, with players looking to smother the footy. What a player he's become, Tim, as you spoke about. An enormous record, just about the best player in the game now.
Shot there of Brad Johnson. He's really struggled tonight. He's struggled all year. And I reckon Rodney Eade's got a really tough decision to make through the week, and that is whether he keeps his captain in the team, because he might have to let his head rule his heart, because you just about got to question whether Brad Johnson's worth his spot in this team, and that's a tough call, but I think it's a realistic one.
It's a big call from you, Rob. I mean, this becomes potentially his last game.
Well, it does, and look, I admire him. I have for years and years, but he is playing at about 60%, and you just can't survive out there, not in finals.
On the evidence of what we've seen tonight, there's almost no decision to be made, is there?
Well, it'll be an interesting one, Hutto, because he's an absolute champion on and off the field.
And he's had 16 disposals tonight.
Yeah, but they've been ordinary ones, and he can't run. He hasn't got penetration in his kicking. He doesn't tackle with the ferocity. He's just worn out.
You're agreeing with Acker?
Well, yes, I am. That worries me.
It's a big call. Here go the Magpies again. Thomas out in front of Didak, their leading goal kicker. Not on the board tonight. I reckon he will be in a moment. He sure is.
Just saw that build up to the goal. Brad Johnson actually rotated with Eagleton. So Johnson was on Thomas at the time, swapped with Eagleton, and neither Eagleton or Johnson can run with Dale Thomas. He's had another fantastic game, Dale Thomas, and unlucky that Dane Swan's playing, because he's another player vying for the Panasonic.
Well, Ryan Griffin's done for the night. Look, this is all precautionary right now. Let's hope it's precautionary anyway. They need him, as we see Brad Johnson coming off. They need Ryan Griffin right for next week, and it looks like they put him away for this evening.
All right, Boyd gives to Cross. There's some tired legs out there, but the Magpies are still running on top of the turf. And Dale Thomas was inspiring right from the start, and he's still going strong. And he finds McCaffer.
Just on Dale Thomas, he signals the box, the TV signal to Mark Howard after every game. He is desperate for a Panasonic, and I reckon he's thought there's 5 minutes to go. I'm a chance here, so I reckon he wants to try and snip Dane Swan for the Panasonic. He's desperate for one, they reckon.
Too many disposals for my liking.
Is that true, Howie?
He reckons Wolsey doesn't like him as well. He thinks Wolsey's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder about him.
He wouldn't be on his own there.
I don't like anyone, Howie.
Here's McCaffer. Collingwood fans cheering pretty much everything at the moment. That one misses. And the margin is 56.
Sorry, Hutto, there's just a shot there of Brad Johnson indicating to the medical staff in the dugout that maybe that was the Achilles, that lower calf Achilles issue that he's been dogged by all year. Perhaps he's had some issues with that again tonight.
Well, I wonder if he's just left the field for the last time. All will be revealed in the fullness of time. Sad end if it did come to that. Here go the Dogs, picking, feeding to Higgins. Scoring chance here. No one back there, and it just curled the right way, and he gets a goal.
Well, it can't have been too big a problem for Brad Johnson because he's coming back on again, the old warhorse. So there's the indication there that he might have just been feeling it on that left inside area there, but it didn't look good, the body language, but he's come back on again.
Wonder why he'd go back on unless it's for a last hurrah. Maxwell shaped the kick beautifully for Lee Brown. Gee, Ben Johnson's been a good servant too, hasn't he? Rejuvenated in the last 12 months. Pendlebury's ball handling is wonderful to watch. Blair and then moving forward again. Didak just getting a bit of warm-up going here. He's still got some more to give. Didak from the pocket. Have a go!
Well, the fella who chased him, Cullen, when he kicked the goal, he just put his hands to his head and said, I can't believe it. That's the goal of the game, no doubt about it. He hit that ball running away from goal at full pace, juggled it, went to the boundary line. He wanted to centre it. There was no option. He's put it through. Peter Dacos would be applauding.
In our pre-match grand final moments package, or finals moments package, we saw him kick one from out in that very pocket. It was the sealing goal in a qualifying final against Brisbane back in 2003. Put Collingwood straight into the preliminary. Of course, the season came to a sticky end, but this is a more brilliant, more complete Collingwood team than the Magpies possessed back then. This is a team that is a real chance.
Well, if I was Rodney Eade, I'd be getting this big bloke here and saying, you've had 5 touches for the game. Get on, work hard, and get Hudson off, because Hudson's so important to them for next week.
Harbrow from on the 50, spraying it very wide. Not very handsome.
Harbrow's kicking efficiency, and he's had 13 kicks. His kicking efficiency is 23%.
Well, you wonder, Rob, next week, Robert Murphy sat across half-back for most of the night, and he's as good a user they've got. Maybe it's time Harbrow went back, and they got Robert Murphy up into the play a bit more.
So Hudson, with the Pies fans staying to savour it, and the Dogs fans, some of them anyway, departing and starting to turn their thoughts to next week. Tuvey to Pendlebury to Maxwell. Plethora of options, decides to come this way to the members' side, where McCaffer can loop it over the top and sort it out with Shaw, and then Tuvey, if he likes, or side bottom. Those bases covered for the moment. Luke Ball's loose along the line, but he's going to go back instead. He passes back to Reid and carries some instructions, and that's the Swan. Thomas is covered on the outer side, so he's going to come back to Reid. And the Pies happy just to shuffle it around. Here's McCaffer.
Well, I mentioned that these two teams, Didak just coming down a little awkwardly.
Cramp, I think.
Collingwood supporters are cheering every possession at the moment.
That was heart and mouth, though, wasn't it, when they saw Didak
the
come up a little
just choked off, didn't it? Shaw and Reid, particularly cheering the possessions of the champions. Reid goes long, too long for Shaw, too long for the line, out on the full. I was going to say, these two clubs, as I mentioned, began their seasons by meeting on the Sunday of round 1. Collingwood caused a surprise victory, and you'd have to conclude on what we've seen tonight that the younger Magpies have got better and stronger as the season's worn on, and the older Bulldogs have got older still, tireder, and the season hasn't gone where it was hoped and planned. Maxwell, the captain, he's led the side superbly over the last 2 seasons. A real presence for them, and he's leading them into a preliminary final tonight and into the box seat. There'll be favourites for the flag.
And there's a bit of a tactic, Tim, that sometimes coaches can trial things late in a game, which they may need later on in the year, or sorry, next week or the week after, and that's just icing the clock a little bit.
A little bit like St Kilda last night, Lloydie.
Exactly. So they might need to do this if they're a goal or 7 points up. You know, they need to hold out for a minute or two in the coming weeks.
And they've got to hold up again, and they do hold up.
Does this fella hold his spot in the team, Matty, Jared Blair?
Definitely, and with Wellingham, I'd pick him anyway, but with Wellingham being out, I'm thinking who could be the next in line to maybe be involved in a premiership chance if Wellingham doesn't come up in the next 3 weeks. Obviously, Goldsack and Medhurst didn't get a game tonight. I wouldn't be Fraser, you think, with obviously Wellingham being a midfielder. So McCarthy got a run in the last few weeks.
Look at this. The Magpie fans love it when Swan touches the footy.
Tell you what, I don't know if the dream team's still going, but if you've got Johnson or Swan, you're licking your lips at the moment. Swan up to 38 disposals. Johnson for his 31st just gets it clear. Thomas came late, flying for the footy. Falls for McCaffer, delays it. Here's Swan for his 39th disposal. They cheer and roar again. Thomas is ready, but Dawes is feeding. Careful kick. And they bolt. And Pendlebury, maybe one more for the road for the Pies. It'll be Luke Ball's on it. Oh, he fumbled it. But it's still going to be a Collingwood goal. And they stroll into the preliminary final with ease. And the Collingwood fans can't get enough of it. The qualifying final is a cakewalk.
Don't you love the ball in the hands of this fella, Pendlebury? Always looks to use it to advantage.
And what a draft that was. Thomas at pick 2, Pendlebury at pick 5. They've been sensational players and inspired choices for the Magpies, as is this bloke side bottom. But Luke Ball, he just goes about his business. 22 possessions, and as Tim said, 11 tackles tonight, 12 contested possessions. He and Jolly have been sensational pickups in the off-season.
They've certainly done all that was hoped they might, and probably more. Lee Brown knocking it on to Davis. Bulldogs defend this time successfully, but maybe not for long. Side bottom leads Gilby in the race. Shaw there with him. Beams at the end of the kick.
Well, Dane Swan has had 39 disposals tonight. His career best this season is 39. If he gets another one, little personal record.
His career best, or his
for this season?
Best?
For this season, his best is 39.
And there is the siren, and the Magpies have tuned up in the best possible way. A fantastic performance. They weren't as accurate as they would have liked, but they are into the preliminary final in style.
Side by side they stick together to the Bulldogs Magpies land. See the Americans are shouting as all Americans shout. Oh, the premiership's a game one for the good old Collingwood.
Just too good and too professional, the Magpies tonight. They run out 62-point winners as we go down to one of the stars of the match, Dale Thomas.
Well, Daisy, you came in with all the pressure on you, the favourite side. By gee, that was a comprehensive performance tonight.
It was a pretty solid effort, mate. Inaccurate kicking early. But, the boys stuck to their guns in a good four-quarter performance, which is probably the first one in a couple of weeks.
Been a lot of talk about the kicking, mate. How are you boys preparing for that during the week? Because that's the big talking point.
There's been a fair bit of practice done, mate, but we'll just keep sticking to it. And, hopefully one day it clicks and we kick them all straight through.
Wonderful to have the week off now, mate. Great to have a rest at this time of the season.
Yeah, it is, mate. A good chance to freshen up, regroup, refocus, and go again in a couple of weeks.
Just yourself, mate. 31 possessions tonight. The trouble is, Walls is handing out the TV. Any chance, you think?
He's got it, mate.
Good on you, Andy Marr.
Is there anywhere on the football ground that you can't kick a goal from?
I'm sure there is. It's good to pull a couple of arsey ones at the end.
You must just back yourself, though. You must think, OK, I can have a go here. You back your own abilities, you know what you can do, and you've got supreme confidence in your ability to make things happen.
Well, first things first, you got to look inboard, and it was good that no one was inboard and had the shot, so yeah, I was pretty confident.
And all week we've been hearing that your shoulder was no good, that you got a torn pec. You're not going to play this week, and you might not play again for the rest of the season. Was there any doubt that you were going to play this week?
No, not at all. We rested last week. We did have a bad corky. in the shoulder, and we had, got great physios at the club that got me up for this week.
I enjoy the week off, and good luck in the prelim.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you. Back to you, Howie.
Well, I'm with Jared Blair, mate. What a time to come into this Collingwood football side. You must be pinching yourself, but you're playing great footy.
Yeah, mate, it's good to be a part of it. You see all the crowd here and that, and just happy to have me spot, mate. Yeah.
What do they send you out, mate? What's the main message? What's the coach want to see from you?
I suppose the main thing for myself and Leon's forward line pressure. You keep the ball in there long enough, you're going to kick goals, and that's our focus, yeah.
Mate, you're having a wonderful season, but physically you're a lot smaller than the rest of the blokes out in the field. How do you go against some of the big boys?
You don't really think about it when you're out there. You just keep plugging away, and hopefully the ball falls your way.
Good on you, Jared. Thanks very much. Andy, you're with the skipper.
Thanks very much, Howie. The last couple of the weeks of the season weren't what you wanted. You found that September gear tonight, the competitiveness was fantastic.
Yeah, there was elements of what we wanted. We just didn't quite finish it off. We weren't quite sharp enough. Certain things we did really well. Other things we are sharpened up for tonight. And I think it's hard. It's hard to know the mindset with the boys when you already know who you're playing and when you're playing. It's sort of hard to get that motivation because this is what we've been waiting for a few weeks.
It was complete tonight, wasn't it? It was a physical demolition of them, but a mental one as well.
I wouldn't say complete, 17-22. Something we've got to clean up, but we're getting closer.
Mate, they're waiting for you. Well done. Back to you, lads.
All right, well, the Pies are very controlled about the way they're approaching everything in finals here, Lloyd. You can hear that in the words of the players on the ground. The supporters not so.
No, Maxwell and Malthouse will know, and they'll settle the boys down that they've got bigger fish to fry over the coming weeks.
So Collingwood winning by 62 points. The Dogs will live to fight another day, but the Pies are into the preliminary final.